So basically, Constantine, we do a lot of celebrity couple kind of stories, and we like to share our input. So the latest we found here, Blake Lively reveals the simple rule that she and Ryan Reynolds swear by in order to keep their marriage strong after more than 12 years together. And I believe like 4 or 5 children. So
Is it 5? It's not 5.
it's a lot of kids. I mean, after
Wow.
3, it could be 12. You're
It
outnumbered.
might as well be 12.
She
Yeah.
doesn't do math, per se. She does couples counseling.
I do math. I don't do counting.
5 is so many. Oh, gosh.
Despite their busy schedules as Hollywood stars, the couple has shared that they never book gigs at the same time, adding that it makes their marriage stronger. They first made the rule to prioritize their personal life when they first got together over a decade ago and have been swearing by it ever since. Ryan explained in 2019, Blake and I don't do movies at the same time. If she's doing a movie in Thailand and I'm going to do a movie in Vancouver, we would never see each other. We operate as a unit, and that works really well for us. The kids stay with us and the family stays together, and that is where home is. So if we're in Spain or Utah or New York, as long as we're together, we're home. Well, isn't that fucking delightful?
So many just name drops of destination places.
If
And
we're
just-
in, what is it, Ibiza or Barcelona?
If they dropped one of those. Oh,
Yes. So,
no. Ooh.
Constantine, it's easier said than done, right? When you're at that level of fame and success, sure, you can take 6 months off because guess what? You're going to have another offer in 6 months. So you can let your wife take one, then you'll take one. However, when you're not at that level, you don't know what job could potentially be your last. So I understand why it's difficult for other couples who are like, I just want to make sure that we're bringing money in to support our family. So what's your take on all of this?
Wow. Yeah, no, that's a great reply from you, no doubt. They've generally not annoyed me over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a lot. Again, you read it in print and it just sounds very different.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of things. He's insanely wealthy right now because he's got all these entrepreneurial things going on.
Oh,
And
yeah.
as does she. I'm sure she's got the makeup and glam stuff. She does a lot of those campaigns, but he's really like owning a football team, like soccer team, like got into the the cellular sort of space. I mean,
Cheap cell phone thing,
yeah, he's a Fortune 500 company at this point. I mean, his movie star role in Deadpool is just next level, like just a license to print maybe hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
She comes from like actually an acting and showbiz family. You know, all of her sisters are actors. I remember I was at a wedding with one of her sisters who's kind of like the least well-known, of them all. They have great parents and stuff. She comes from a couple of bucks too, but I think this is when that's not going to work out. When Blake Lively, obviously he's off doing huge movies, when it's that role that she needs to get like in awards sort of like consideration, but he's about to do Deadpool 6,
Yeah.
That's when it's not going to work out because there always comes a job that changes all of that.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have those uptown problems for sure. I mean, they are... they're the dream. She's hanging out with Taylor Swift. I mean, is that a job? I don't know. Like, is that free time? What's happening there? Is that, what? Because he wasn't really around for that, was he? So, I mean, they're great. They're great. I actually dig them both as performers and actors. But, the movie star stuff is always a little ick.
Yeah, it's tough to sound grounded after even just name dropping the locations. I wonder if there's something to this. And of course, I haven't done any research. But I wonder if there's something to be said about a successful Hollywood couple meeting under the umbrella of a shitty movie. Because they met on Green Lantern. Now, you all look at someone, say, like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, Mr. and Mrs. Smith was quite the hit. And what happened to them? but these are the only examples I can come up with now because I am not good at what I do. But there's got to be other ones. I feel.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting sort of detail there.
I mean,
But I think they both knew that they were still destined for bigger and better. And it's almost like they were in that chosen class,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like they were in the chosen group. They were going to get 20 or 30 shots at this, like, no doubt. Like, so they grew that thing together. Yeah, they became sort of like Hollywood royalty kind of together, right?
Yeah.
And I always forgot that he was he married to Scarlett Johansson, or were they just
He was
dating?
married to her for about 2 or 3 years.
I wonder if they met on a hit.
Whoa.
I wonder if they met on a hit movie,
I'm not sure.
and that would really help this otherwise non-existent theory of mine. But if I could make, boy, I gotta do some math.
Yeah, do some research. But Constantine, what you were saying about like the one role that could like change the rules. So Matt Damon has talked about this publicly, that he and his wife were in therapy. And she was saying that she really wanted him to spend more quality time with the family. So he agreed with their therapist that he would not do films for like another year, like a year or so. Unless,
Just
and
a
there
year.
there
Yeah.
was one caveat, and it was if it were a Christopher Nolan film.
Okay.
And the opportunity came for Oppenheimer. And he broke that rule with his wife. But it was in a clause. He was allowed to.
Right.
But I'm sure she was not super thrilled about that. But when you are in a partnership, when you're in a marriage with someone where this is their career, I think you have to be a little forgiving in that way. Or you need to maybe have your own things and have your own moments in order for it to feel even.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, Oppenheimer, that's a once in a lifetime, even for Matt freaking Damon.
Yeah.
That's, he's got to be in that film. I can't imagine he can't uplift his entire family and bring them, but they might be in that weird age where she's like, I'm not taking them out of school
Sure.
to
Yeah.
sit with you in Prague
Yeah.
for 4 months, or wherever it is. So I guess that can be tough. But, people think when they're on that level, they're also spending millions and millions and millions of dollars. They need to work to keep the thing going.
That's so true.
And it's like they're thinking of legacy. They're thinking of their kids and then their children and things they're invested in. So that, they're not just sitting with hundreds of millions in the bank in cash. They got to keep the thing rolling just like everybody else. So.
Particularly if Joe's possibly scurrilous math is correct, and Ryan Reynolds has 5 kids, that you would need to keep it going. Because not only we mentioned the phone company, but also the soccer team. I don't know how much money that's making, but also he's got the gin.
Aviation gin. Well,
Yeah.
and what's great is that his wife, Blake, does not drink. She has never had a drink.
Whoa.
And she has a line of mocktails cans. It's called, I think, Betty Buzz. And so oftentimes she and her husband will promote together. It's also like you could put this canned
Smart.
mixer with the gin if you want to drink. And I don't know, I just like it. It feels like there isn't exactly competition between the two of them. They are just kind of lifting each other up. But Constantine, to that point, with you and dating, we got to talk about you a little bit here. Have you found it easier or harder to date someone who is in your industry versus having nothing to do with it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm attracted to these beautiful performers and artists. It's fun. There's just something about show people, right? So, but I've tried to stay far away from them in more recent years.
Oh my God!
try
Yeah,
to-
it's a bold new world. That's the whole thing. Like with the whole, thank God it happened. the Me Too stuff. This was a course correction that was very much needed, all of that. But I mean, maybe it's just my laziness, but back in the day, I would still be a virgin if it weren't for the fact that I dated coworkers. Because those are the only people that I would see on a regular basis. I'm a slow burn, too. Like, I can't just sweep you off your feet at a bar. Fuck that. I need to kind of wear on you, not in a bad way.
Right.
But, like, you know, now that that's off the table, oh, God. But I think the whole shitting where you eat is kind of done.
Yeah. It's get to work with some beautiful and talented girls, and it's awesome. But I'm more attracted to these days maybe a mom who's been through it, who's a bit more my age, who's got her own gig going on. She can appreciate what I do, and I can lift her up in her job, and we can do some, crossover things together. But she's not like, can I meet your agent? I mean,
Yeah.
I like the moms.
Not that they all do that, but it's just, it comes a time where it just sort of clashes, or if you're both not really working at the time,
I used
to get stress.
I used to like the kind of moms that were, how do I put this, still married. Because then I was not expected really to do anything, not even buy dinner. Very minimal effort involved with the married types. Can't emphasize that enough.
No, that's so inappropriate.
You're inappropriate.
Always.